Welcome, my beautiful Sagittariuses. This is going to be your January 2026 tarot reading. There are a few things I want to talk about before we get into the cards, and this is just the stuff that I was picking up as I was pre-shuffling. It's kind of when I go into meditative form. Um, so, what I got is there's something important the Spirit wants you to see today, and once it's seen, it cannot be unseen. Interesting. And that's all I got about that. So that's going to be interesting to see what that's going to be about. And then I also got January is going to open with expansion for you, both in love and money. And this reading, we're splitting. We're going to do a love reading and then your money reading. So already expansion. And what I got is Spirit is already moving places in places into or pieces into place as we speak. So as we speak, Spirit, and I have a feeling it has also to do with the cards, like they're going to be in their perfect place. Um, so that's interesting and exciting. So, what I would say is take a breath and know that this reading and you being here wasn't by accident. So, let's go to the cards and spirit because this already feels special and we're just beginning. So, I am excited to do your reading. And I have to say, you are the last reading for July. And I always feel like the last one is the best. So, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, those intuitively guided. That's the way Spirit was speaking. Like, if you're here, you are meant to be here. So, I have a feeling there are going to be, if the whole reading doesn't resonate, I have a feeling you're going to get a lot of messages one way or another. Um, Some of you could certainly be in love with the Sagittarius. Same thing. Keep your mind open. Your guides know you're here. And let's go ahead. Let's get into the reading. These are going to be, somewhat long, but they're January. And we're in this year one now. Happy New Year, by the way. Um, and I have to say, I just feel January is going to be really good for you. That's the way your guides are making me feel. So, for love, we will use the crystal vision to clarify and go deeper. Of course, bringing out the romance angels, we'll put them right there. We will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading, and for the love portion, we're going to use the light seers. And then I already have your cards ready for your money reading. So let's go ahead and begin. I don't know why. I feel excited. I feel like a kid, like on the last day of school. Interesting. I don't know if I said, but definitely feel comfortable asking your spirit guides to give you signs of confirmation. Whether it be a number, a name, a feeling. I have a feeling for a lot of you, this is going to feel like a personal reading. All right. Just going to calm my mind. One last drink of coffee. Let's begin. Let's begin. In this year one, this brand new clean slate. Mother. I open my heart to my mother's humanness and her divinity. Mother. I have to say though, I am feeling mother figures, like mother figures are here in the reading, um, you know, just waiting to talk to their child. So even though this feels like the energy of forgiveness, and that could be so, boy, do I feel like mothers who are just waiting to give you a message, mother figures, because, you know, I feel like there's ancestors here, um, who love you dearly, and some of you have never met them in this lifetime, but you do know them, you're soul connected. We have inner child. Interesting. Interesting. What is a mother gonna love? That inner child. I guess not all mothers, but inner child. I nurture the child within me through playfulness and self care. I nurture the child within me through playfulness and self care. But boy, does that feel like mother and child. Mother and child. Okay. Thank you, Mother Mary. All right. Who's ready for love? Because here we go. Oh my gosh. Look at that. The Knight of Cups. I'm not going to take him yet, but he didn't want to come up with the rest of the deck. Unexpected couple fulfillment. And I mean, this knight has purpose, like he's got roses in his hands. Looks like he's being patient. Well, maybe because it wasn't his time to come out yet. I have a feeling we're going to see him again. I just have a feeling. All right, let's give him a cut, which I might have already done. I don't know. All right, let's begin. We have the Eight of Pentacles. Interesting. The Eight of Cups. Whose reading did I do? Libras. They opened the same way with 88. And here you have 88. This could certainly talk about two new beginnings. It's interesting because one may be in your emotional life and one may be within your career. They're both powerful eights. And eights are new beginnings. It's also the number of infinity, as above, so below. That is probably why I talked about your ancestors. This is finding emotional clarity. This is walking away from what was. But this person's heading towards the Nine of Cups, inner fulfillment and fulfillment of wishes. And then the Eight of Pentacles. So the meaning of the Eight of Pentacles is, number one, not being afraid to go into something as the apprentice, knowing that if you focus on it, it will only grow. And I often feel you become the master teacher. Now, in a love reading, this can certainly answer a question. How do I know love will be any different? Especially if you've done this emotional clarity, this emotional, what do I want to say, like releasing. And I feel like, and you're allowing yourself to have this, what feels like a new beginning. All right, well, let's keep going. It's like she set this little fire, and I'm not saying set a fire. I think it's symbolic, but it's like almost like there's nothing left. Right? Those cups that had gone empty. But again, you're heading towards the Nine of Cups, inner harmony and fulfillment of wishes. And then 88, that's got to mean something to someone. There's that inner child energy. Page of Cups. and then your spiritual team. And I really love this image because this is like your spirit self connecting to above, and they're answering. That's what I feel like. I feel like some of you, like, you may have been connecting or praying or something like that. And I feel this sense of, like, whatever intentions you put out there or prayers, like they were heard. Not only heard, but they're being answered. Judgment also has a message where it's calling you into the present moment. And that usually means there's signs that are about to reach you. Judgment speaks of a rebirth. Well, no wonder we have all these eights, right? New beginnings. And who knows? Maybe it's a new beginning in your money and in your career. I mean, and in your love. But here's the thing, like the way Spirit was making me feel, um, it doesn't feel like there's anything that I'm heading towards that I need to worry about. Really, probably quite the opposite. So judgment is calling you to the present moment for a reason. And in just like I got before I started the reading, like they're putting the pieces in place as we speak. Okay, let's keep going. So definitely no more living in the past. This is about today and your tomorrow. Page of Cups in a love reading. You know, page can mean a few different things. It can talk about inner child. And because Mother Mary sent out inner child, I do feel like a lot of you, that's kind, you know, you may have taken some time to like heal from a situation, an emotional situation. Some of you may have poured your energy into your creativity, which I always think is a great idea. Because sometimes I feel like when we do that, next thing you know, it's like, oh, we have a business, potential of a business. But the page can also speak about what's in the atmosphere, what has yet to reach you. So, Page of Cups, well, it would be a cup. But I do get this sense of like, if I brought this cup in too soon, then it wouldn't be valued the way that I feel that it's going to be valued. Interesting. Okay. Well, how about that? How about the Lovers? Wow. Judgment calling you to the present moment, telling you there's about to be a rebirth, telling us that the pieces are already being put in place. Now, the meaning of this card is a head over heart decision, and that'll probably come into play. But it's also the chemistry. I mean, you can just see it. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like they're in a womb. Like her hair, look at her hair going, like, connecting to his. Interesting. I never noticed that. It's like they're soul connected. You know, this is going to be, if you don't know who this is yet, this is going to feel familiar to you. Like, I feel like I've been with you before. Being ushered in by your spiritual team. Also card of Gemini, by the way. But wow. Hello, lovers. The lovers is mirroring the Eight of Pentacles. And what that tells me is the chances that these two people are going to do similar things or have similar interests, I feel are great. Because I feel this sense of understanding each other. You know what I mean? Like understanding each other probably the way that no one else has. This does feel a little bit like divine timing. Because judgment, I did get that sense of like, if this was ushered in too soon, it wouldn't have the same value. Interesting. All of a sudden, I noticed that tattoo on her. Some of you may have a tattoo in that area. All right, let's keep going. I mean, who better to usher in the lovers than your spiritual team? The Four of Swords, healing. Beautiful. It's interesting because healing is coming under the Eight of Pentacles, and I hear it all the time from at least my guides that when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling low, to turn my focus to my creativity. And I'm telling you, it works. And honestly, I started reading tarot after a pretty traumatic event in my life. So I kind of get what this is saying. Something tells me also that these lovers are soulmates, and these soulmates, I feel like, come in and help with like those last broken little pieces. If I didn't believe in love, well, they will change my mind. If I haven't had anyone supportive in my life, well, they will be my support system. And both ways, by the way, as I say that, this energy that's coming in is coming in fast and furious. This is passion rushing in. It's really undeniable. And what I love is that it's following the healing energy. So to me, that means you're ready. This also reminds me of your inner child. Your playfulness, your freedom loving energy, right? Like I feel, and I don't know if I'm speaking to everyone, but I feel like back in the day, it was very seldom that I turned down an adventure. Doesn't mean that each one gave me something great, but maybe it did give you a lesson, sometimes a blessing. And I love that quality about you. And I feel like this is what's being called back into action. But I also feel like this is the way love is arriving. Okay. We have the Nine of Wands. This is my spirit warrior energy. This was really what 2025 was about. It was about the reflection, at least over the last 9-year cycle. Because remember, we're starting a brand new 9-year cycle right now. And this is really looking back, though, with a sense of how you have grown, the things that you've overcome. This fits your energy perfect because each one behind this person is an adventure. And not all of them turned out. But I feel like with your energy, it was just getting back on the horse again. But this is meant to make you proud of who you are and what you've overcome and what you're still overcoming. And this is why I call this person my spirit warrior. Literally, she's busting out of her clothes. And to me, those are her spiritual muscles. Why is Judgment calling you to the present moment? What is this rebirth all about? If the Lovers wasn't good enough, how about the Ace of Cups? Right under Judgment. And, it's kind of perfect because this reflection was done first. It is truly like, you know who you are. You know what you want. Like, I'm not second guessing. I don't know if you know who this person is, but let me just say, your spiritual team does. And when they were literally putting pieces into place, I don't know how it could be more perfect. Well, that makes it even more perfect. There you go. The 10 of Pentacles, the House of Abundance, the house that truly can take root. I feel like this is an energy that has the potential to last for the rest of your life. And it's interesting because the first card was the Eight of Pentacles. Some of you, as you were overcoming, you did turn your energy to like your creative house. And here is that business. But we can also look at this as in a different light, um, where I feel like two are coming together and literally coming together. That means everything is connected. This means to me a true commitment, right? Because we are combining everything. This tells me you're going to be living with this person. Well, again, I want to remind you though, the Lovers is a head over heart decision, but Judgment, bringing out the Ace of Cups, almost like it's activating your heart chakra first. In this page, this Knight of Wands, I definitely feel that's your inner child. That's you when things were unencumbered, when you did take chances. And that is you on a soul level anyway. So when you're not feeling that way, then something's going on. You know what I mean? Like it may ask you, like, let's take a second, let's reflect, see what's going on, get you back into that adventuresome spirit. This is really unbelievable. Well, I shouldn't say unbelievable, but because I'm used to seeing this beauty. But wow, you want to talk about love reading? Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. The Tower. It kind of makes sense with these two eights, right? New beginnings, the Tower, disruption. Look at that, the Five of Pentacles underneath that. Someone may have broken up with you, or something happened outside of your control that did turn into Tower. But I feel like this is the energy of healing it. And sometimes the Tower, especially if you look at what wants to enter, well, this Tower, in a way, could have saved our lives. Without this Tower happening, I feel like Judgment would say, well, that would not have been the right time then. So something feels like it had to end. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Had a knock at my door. All right, let's bring in the crystal vision and let's go over this beauty. Remember, this is just the love portion. And I have to say that the majority of January's readings, for whatever reason, had money and love connected. Well, we already have the Ten of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles. And I do feel like you have like-minded interest. You know, like, I feel like this is your person. And it may have come after many who weren't your person, so to speak. I shouldn't say that because, you know, everything teaches us something. Even if it was free will. But here's the thing. I don't feel that you know, and it may not be everyone, but I don't feel, I don't know, I don't feel like this tower has the effect over you that it once did, especially with the healing here. And by the way, if this had anything to do with love, Judgment is ushering in the Lovers and the Ace of Cups that turns into the Ten of Pentacles. Huh. You won't be thinking about that tower. And if you do, you'll be thanking it. That's just what I'm really feeling like. You'll come back and be like, without that tower, I may not have had you. All right. We're going to start at the top or the beginning, but read it as a whole. And then we had a card flip over. Well, oh my gosh. First of all, the world. So, when you see the world, that means something has come to completion. Well, that is the tower. But it is the beginning of something new. And I have to tell you, I love the world's energy. I feel like this is when you are walking hand in hand with your spirituality. You can even look at this woman's pose, you know, very Zen-like. It's like I'm not allowing the rest of the world to touch my soul. But I mean that, you know, for energy that just does, you know, it would do you no good to take on. So, something has come to completion, but something new is opening up. Well, it is mirroring the Lovers. And then, if that wasn't good enough, hello, Will. Hello, Destiny. Wow. Your wheel is a spinning. Judgment is calling. And Judgment is opening up love. This definitely feels meant to be. When you see your wheel, this is your destiny. And it's coming over the Eight of Cups. So, in a way, I feel like whoever I may have just been with, I have a feeling they weren't part of your true destiny. At least not meant to be now. That's what I'm feeling. The world. Your next chapter. And with the Ten of Pentacles, it feels like forever. It's destined. It's destined. We have the Nine of Swords. Interesting, we have two nines mirroring each other. Look at this. Hello, Lovers again. Now, the Lovers is right over Judgment. Now, that makes sense, because there's two people involved here. This Nine of Swords over the Page of Cups. You know, I feel like this is two different perspectives. I can look back and, you know, I feel like if I don't find emotional clarity, then fear remains. Like the fear to love again. And I feel like, which makes sense, like the inner child is where the healing is taking place. So I feel like I have two different ways I can look at this. I can get excited. I can know I deserve it. Or I could be fearful. Remember, the Nine of Swords, the meaning of the card is unnecessary worry, but it is worry. But then we have the Lovers again. And I'm wondering, is one lover in the Nine of Swords and the other in the Nine of Wands? Yet at the same time, I feel like what your spiritual team is saying, you don't need worry here. Like, don't let worry stop what wants to be. You know, again, the court or the ball will be thrown in your court because you are the one who's making the decision. Do you follow your head or do you follow your heart? Wow. Now the Lovers is literally mirroring the Ace of Cups. There's no way this can't also be past life lovers. You know what I mean? Like, I feel this sense of, like, these people belong together. And it may have been some time. But listen, I feel like what I have here are two strong souls. I'm saying two. I really mean many. Um, but I feel like these souls have the ability to overcome. And I feel like the more that you are in your inner child energy, and I mean like the part of you that is more carefree, the one who is willing to take a chance. And taking that chance is where the excitement is. I feel like if you've been praying for a lover, and when I say the lover, I don't mean any old love. Two of Wands. I feel like you just made your decision. I feel like you just said yes. I feel like you're following your heart. Two of Wands is the willingness to step into it. Two of Wands is not a fear-based energy, and it is your natural energy. You know, this means that you are about to walk down the path of the Wands. Passion, exciting. And all of a sudden I get the sense of these lovers being so passionate that when they fight, because let's face it, we're human also. But when they fight, and I don't mean like, I don't feel big fights, but I feel like if we fight, then we make up. And when we make up, we make up. Like, I feel that deeply. The Two of Wands is answering the call of the world. You know, I feel like the world, it's January. It's the beginning of this next 9-year cycle. And I love that you are stepping upon your destiny. And it coming over the Eight of Cups, you're leaving the past where it belongs, in the past. It doesn't even mean that this person can't be someone from your past. I definitely feel past life. Um, but if that is the case, I don't feel like this is anyone who broke your heart. All right, well, let's keep going because I don't feel like I should even continue in that direction. I'm not leaving it off the table. And, I feel like we'll know. All right. Oh my gosh. How about the Ten of Pentacles mirrored by the Ten of Pentacles? What an abundant reading. Kind of knew that going in. And then, hello, Empress. Hello, Mother. Wow. Some of you, you're being set up by your mother, but in the most beautiful of ways. And I really feel this is, I guess they could also be living, but I'm really feeling like a mother figure who is a guide, because I get the sense of no one knows. Okay. No one knows my child like I do. So wouldn't I be the perfect person to help usher in love? And I have to agree. Doesn't mean they were perfect on earth, but they now know that. Now, I also feel this is you, because I do feel like you've overcome quite a bit. And to me, the Empress has gone through the experiences of all the queens, extracted the wisdom. That's why she's so wise, powerful, but loving and nurturing. This is someone who has learned not to shut down their heart due to these tower people, right? Again, maybe they were just a stepping stone to your ultimate person. And you do have to know what it is you want and what it is you don't want. So, keeping your heart open. But let me tell you something about the Empress. She trusts her intuition over anything and everything. She knows that she's connected directly to her guides. And I love this image because it's like an apple is about to hit her in the head. It's like an epiphany, an idea, maybe love. So this is someone who, instead of building up walls, she lets her intuition protect her. She's got a beautiful energetic force. Like her what's the word I want to say? I just forgot the word, but I have a feeling you know. But anyways, under the wheel, next to the Ten of Pentacles, over your inner child, the carefree part of you. Sag, get ready for an adventure. However it's going to show for you, just get ready for an adventure. I feel like fear doesn't really have a place here. It's understandable, but it's just not needed. And that is probably also why we're seeing the Empress. Her energetic force will let her know if anything negative is coming in or anything of a lower vibration. Her intuition will sing. This is the ability to read energy, which you have. All right. Wow. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay, we have Seven of Swords. Well, that kind of explains why the Nine of Swords is here. However, it's coming over the Nine of Wands. And I feel like this is, again, two ways of looking at this. So this tells me that, in the past, there was definitely energy that you dealt with that, this is called the thief in the night. I feel like this person is someone who takes more than their fair share. Always. I don't know why, but in my mind's eye, I always see this person like growing up at a table with a lot of brothers and sisters, and there wasn't a lot of food to go around. And if my brother turned his back, I would take his food and then blame my sister. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it started at a young age. So it's almost like someone who did not grow, but that part of themselves. This is someone where I don't know. I feel like you cannot trust them. Can't trust what they say. But listen, coming over the Nine of Wands, you know that now. Sometimes we fight for something that eventually we're like, what the hell were we fighting for? But that's why the Nine of Wands is here. And that is yesterday's energy. Oh my gosh, look at this. The Knight of Cups, guardian angel energy. Like, can I just say thank you to the mother figures? Because I feel like they are really involved in this reading. This Knight of Pentacles has a couple different messages. Its first message is patience. Because this Knight comes at the right time, not before, not after. Makes complete sense here. It's coming over the Ace of Cups. So this Knight brings in a pentacle, and this pentacle is truly meant to enhance your life. And if you nurture that pentacle, let's call it a seed, then it just continues to grow and blossom. Like, I don't feel like it's a one-time thing. But it is like it is saying it's bringing love into your physical world. Excuse me. Ushered in by your guardian angel. Man. So, when the Knight of Pentacles shows up, especially because it's coming right below Judgment, who is calling you to the present moment. So, to me, that means the timing is right. Because if it wasn't right, the Knight wouldn't come in. Get out of here. Sagittarius. You now have the Ten of Cups over the Ten of Pentacles. I can't wait to do your money now. Because I feel like the abundance in your love is really off the charts. And some of you may have had to wait. But instead of saying waiting, you've been growing. This is such abundant energy. And although I usually say take it slow, boy, I don't feel like this is going to go slow. I feel like you take a step in it, you guys feel the energy, and that's that. Like, it's undeniable. No wonder the Empress is also saying, keep that heart open. This is going to be worth it. Your guardian angel, along with your spiritual team, ushering in not just the lovers, but the Ace of Cups. And then the Knight of Pentacles, not just ushering in the Ace of Cups, but the Ten of Cups. Wow. I just realized the Ten of Cups is mirroring the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Cups is coming over the Ten of Pentacles. Wow. All right. I'm just going to take one more shuffle, see if anything else wants to come out. We have the Knight of Wands. I feel like healing time. It's over. We have the Seven of Wands. We have the Four of Pentacles. I don't even know why I'm taking these cards, but I am. Four of Pentacles is mirroring that Nine of Swords. Oh my God. This line is unbelievable. And then look at this. Unbelievable. But completely believable. Here is the knight that ushers in this pentacle. Here it is. This love that's being ushered in by your spiritual team and some by your mother or a mother figure, because I am feeling ancestors and I feel like don't leave them out. Marriage, commitment, true love, no doubt, no doubt. Not only will you be living in the Ten of Cups, but also the Ten of Pentacles. I don't know what else we could want. This, my friends, is what I call true love. Soulmate love. But the type of soulmate that I feel is going to last forever. Wow, wow, wow. The lovers being ushered in by your spiritual team, the Knight of Pentacles, your guardian angel, bringing in literally that Ace of Pentacles immediately. Why? Because judgment is saying the timing is now. The wheel has spun. The chapter has opened. And now it's just about the timing, which is very, very soon. You know, the only thing I worry about is this middle line. Because let's face it, if I'm not over whatever this tower was for you, and you don't have to be completely healed, like just know that. Because I feel like true soulmates, the soulmate that's meant to last for the rest of our lives, we carry healing abilities for each other. You know, like if you have a hard time trusting, well, they're going to make sure that you're able to trust them. If you demand truth, which you should, they're going to make sure that you know they're speaking the truth. They're going to answer the call. They're going to answer the call. But you're also answering their call. Know that. This is not a one-sided thing. Like, do these lovers even know that they're about to connect in the most beautiful of ways? I mean, you want to talk about an abundant reading. Just even take love out of the picture. Like true commitment. The Ace of Pentacles, that seed. We can nurture it into the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. All right, let's bring in the romance angels. You know, I'm looking at the Four of Pentacles mirroring the Nine of Swords, and the Four of Pentacles speaks about the foundation, you know, and right above the Seven of Swords, I have a feeling, again, whatever that tower was, the foundation wasn't strong. And I get this sense that, you know, not to put all the blame on them, but I do get this sense that, you know, I just get the sense of somebody who never grew up. And it's not about the playfulness because I feel like you enjoy that. It just feels like someone who, at this moment, just feels incapable of, you know, I feel like they just don't know how to love. They were never taught how to love. They didn't see love. And yes, we can feel bad for them. But that's their spiritual team's job, not yours. Okay? Like, we can't fix them all. And sometimes we're just not meant to. Because this is totally about moving on. You deserve love. You are lovable. If anybody is telling you different, they don't know what they're talking about. I love this image because she is getting ready to shoot her arrow. And I get the sense of it's going to find her lover. And then look at this. So we had the marriage card. Now we have engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. It doesn't get any higher than this. Two people dedicating their lives to each other, whether they decide to get married or not. Will they be living together? No doubt. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Why? Because you're ready. Because you're ready. You know, I feel like the readings this month have shown me the work that everyone has done in 2025. It's just showing it. It's showing so much clearer energy. The fear factor is less and less and less. And these beautiful blessings, just like Spirit told me in the beginning, here they are. Like, holy cow. You know, if I was Sagittarius, I might watch at least the love portion more than once. Because this is truly beautiful. And, you know, I knew our guides were going to blow my mind. But my God, did they blow my mind. But this isn't, you know, this is because you're ready. This is because you're willing to take a chance. And if you're not, then you're in this middle row. Does that stop it? Potentially. Because think about it, the Knight of Pentacles is saying, I come at the right time. And if you're still in a state of like, the Nine of Swords is like a lot of worry. But it's telling you why. It was someone else's energy, not yours. Okay. All right. We got to continue to move on. I could just stay in this reading forever. I'm telling you, I am like lost within the love. And I mean in a beautiful way. Wow. I don't even want to pick it up. All right. We're going to bring out the Gilded Tarot and the Tarot of Dreams. King of Cups didn't want to come up. You know, it's interesting because we saw the Knight of Cups in the beginning, that unexpected couple fulfillment. And even though he didn't come back out in the love portion, I feel like in a way he did. All right. Money, 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 money. Now, this is your money, of course, your creativity. Um, Career. Four of Cups. Interesting. Four of Cups talks about discontentment or boredom within your emotional world. But literally, there's a cup coming in. There's a cup coming in. We already know that. This may say that your emotional life has affected, um, affected you in your career. Like it was hard to stay motivated. We have, well, that's why, the Five of Pentacles. Hello, Ten of Cups. Ten of Swords. Interesting. Interesting. The Star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. First of all, the Star, card of Aquarius. The Star is about manifesting. And the Star is mirroring the Four of Cups, where a cup is literally coming in. So I feel like, well, that wish is going to be answered, and that's why the Ten of Cups is right in the middle. Now, as it's related to work, I feel like there seems to be something that happened. Um, Maybe some dissatisfaction within like my everyday job type of thing. Some of you could have lost a job or left a job because what I'm feeling is a sense of not being appreciated anyway. All right, what else do we have? The Queen of Pentacles, which she's holding in her lap. Big old pentacle. It's almost like that pentacle from the night has fallen into love. Queen of Pentacles, I call my psychic detective. We have the Devil, though it did flip itself around. Uh, can be Capricorn. It is a card of Capricorn. But really, the Devil speaks about illusions, um, temptations, things that call to us in the night. It's the energy also, I feel, of not being your true, authentic self. Or let me put it a different way, where I feel like your true, authentic self wasn't appreciated. And there could have been a push, like, out of a job. But if there was, I feel like on purpose, like, I know it's easier said. I know that. But at the same time, with the Ten of Swords here, this means that you have taken dagger after dagger after dagger in your back. This can certainly talk about a repeat pattern, especially with the Devil, right? Things that keep tempting me that are not for my good. But the Star tells me that's not what you want. What you really want is the Ten of Cups. And with the Devil in reverse, if you look at this image, this is the lovers. And the influence over these lovers is that they can't be together. It's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. But that illusion has been broken. I get a sense of your intuition For some of you, your psychic abilities, like really opening up this month, um, because they're going to be called into action. Some of you, I feel like you're doing something where, I don't know if you would say, like, put psychic behind it, but it's definitely intuitive. It's intuitive energy that you're using. I hope that makes sense. Whoa, look at everything just split. 7 of Cups. That means there's an offer coming in. And then the Death card. So, it's interesting because the Death card is coming under the 10 of Swords. Well, if there's anything I want to end, it would be the 10 of Swords. And I feel like there's an option coming in for you. And that will end one situation, but a good, like, situation that feels like it needs to be ended. I feel this sense of like, I just want to have a happy home. I just want to be able to care for the people I love. I'm not asking too much. And I feel like your spirit guides agree. But there are certain action steps that you might have to take. Again, the 7 of Cups means, first of all, the 4 of Cups, where there's a cup coming in, the 7 of Cups, you're making a choice. And because we see the Death card, which means endings, a door is closing, but a new door is opening always. Card of Scorpio also, by the way. So even in your financial world, there's about to be a rebirth. Look at this, the Fool. Perfect energy to follow the Death card. This is the willingness to take a leap of faith. And who are you taking a leap of faith on? You. This is putting the past in the past. That's why the Fool's able to take this leap. If I thought about every bad thing that's ever happened, I would never take a leap. But because you have cleared the past, whether you meant to or not, this is now new, fresh energy, like a new set of eyes to look at the world. And by the way, Fool's coming under the star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. But it's not about fantasy. It's about manifesting them. And I feel like you are. I feel like some of you have worked for a company that in some way has taken advantage of you. And I do feel like with the 5 of Pentacles, some of you, because that means something happened outside of your control. But you know what I love about the 5 of Pentacles? Even though that is temporarily difficult energy, you're really moving towards your soul tribe. So it's almost like who you were around anyway, the energy didn't mesh. Well, the 10 of Swords would definitely back that up. Even the Devil's energy, but now in reverse. The illusion is no longer an illusion. Some of you, I feel like the love portion may enter, and that could change your outlook as it relates to your creativity. And who knows? Something I've been picking up a lot is lovers collaborating together, lovers starting businesses together. I definitely felt some already had businesses in the other lover, for a better, I should say, soulmate. Um, because you're like-minded, I feel like you could easily step in, or vice versa. You know, if you're wishing for this cup, here is that cup. Here it is. And what does that cup do? It seems to change everything. And that's exactly what you guys are speaking about before I started this reading. You know, it is that energy. What did they say? Like, we're going to see something that cannot be unseen. To me, that means, well, it can mean anything. But the first thing I thought of is going to reveal truths that just are going to be undeniable. But realizing these truths, in a way, I feel like are saving your life. So, how beautiful to have the star and then the Fool. That means that not only in love, but also with your money, something is being answered, something new, something maybe you haven't considered. The Fool is mirroring the Queen of Pentacles. And again, I call her my psychic detective. And I feel like that means something here. All right, well, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Hello, Empress. So look how the Empress followed from love into money. Now, that Ten of Swords takes on a whole different meaning. Because the Empress would not live in that Ten of Swords. Ten of Cups all day long. That doesn't mean her life is perfect. It just means she knows what's right for her and what's not right for her. Right? And no excuses when I say, this is not right for me. Like, it just isn't. So, even in your career, your finances, or your creativity, there seems to be change. But good change. All right, let's bring out the Gilded Tarot and let's go right over this. By the way, the Fool mirroring the Queen of Pentacles. You know, I feel like there's something with her psychic abilities. Whether it's you just really like honing in on your psychic abilities or it's you really honing in on your intuition. So it's like instinctively knowing the next move. I feel like you manifested love in our love reading, and it definitely feels like it's following. You know what I feel like? I feel like it's putting you in a different mood, a different energy. You know, like this person is building you up, making you realize, especially if you've been taking these swords, and the death card means let's let that end. Well, that soulmate's going to point that out. Like, I don't want you taking those daggers. What else can we do? Well, the Empress can do anything. Anything she puts her mind to. All right, we start with the Tower. Interesting. Do we not have the Tower? No, we had the Tower in the bottom of the deck in the last reading. So the Tower over the Four of Cups. Look at this. The Five of Swords over the Five of Pentacles. So, Whatever I may feel I have lost in the Five of Pentacles, this is definitely showing you that it wasn't your like it wasn't benefiting you. This is toxic energy. And some of you may have worked around a lot of toxic people. And you may have gotten pulled into that energy. But I feel like some of you it's like, you can't take it anymore. And nor should you. Especially with the Empress sitting here and the Star. Because again, the Empress, I'm not going to say she can't find herself in a difficult situation. She can. But what is she going to do? Like, she's going to follow her intuition, without doubt. And then we have the World over the Ten of Cups. Wow. So, even in money, something has come to completion. But can I tell you, I feel like, again, maybe this tower was an ending of a job, a changing something. And I get the sense that maybe the only way I would make the change is through the tower's energy, almost like wishing for it. Because I feel like subconsciously, especially if you have the Ten of Swords, subconsciously, I really do want the tower. I want it to force my hand. And that's kind of what it feels like. But with the Death card, right? The closing of the door, and then the Fool being the new door that opens. Same thing with the World. Something has come to completion. Well, let's look before it. The Five of Swords and the Tower. Yay. Yay. Some of you are making the choice to work from home. Like an opportunity arises. Again, think of the Empress like the first, it's not really in this image, but how that apple was about to hit her in the head. And that is an epiphany, an idea. And the Empress can take an idea and create a business from it. Because I do feel like some of you, you're making the conscious choice to work from home. Listen, maybe you didn't plan on it, but you're making lemonade out of lemons. All right, let's keep going. You know, when I see the Star and the Fool together, I really feel like there's really nothing that I can't manifest. I just have to believe it. And then I had to be willing to take the action steps. Because the Fool is about taking that leap of faith. We have the Hangman over the Ten of Swords. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. And I have to tell you, I feel like lesson learned. Page of Pentacles is really the accumulation of everything you've been learning in your life, or let's just at least say the last cycle. And it is a different way of looking at life. Like, okay, so if everything is teaching me, what is it trying to teach me here? And I feel like if you ask that question, your guides will show you. I also feel like this is saying, this isn't about regretting, because everything has taught you something. And for some of you, this may be something you're already very good at. Some of you, this could be something you went to school for. and maybe you haven't had the opportunity to use it. You know, I had to work that 9 to 5. I had to keep grinding that 9 to 5. Well, I feel like all of a sudden, you're not working 9 to 5. You may be working longer hours, but I feel like you're working for yourself. And I know that's not going to be everyone. I guess it depends on what your dream is. But I feel like the Page of Pentacles is representing the knowledge you already have. Okay? The Hangman over the Ten of Swords. You know, it could be something that I wanted to end. But maybe you had to think about it for a little while. Okay, so what do I do next? What can I do next? I feel like there's a lot of things you can do. You know, you have so many talents. And for some reason, you and Leo, I feel like both of you belong in the spotlight. You know, for whatever reason, I feel that with the two of you. We have the Queen of Wands, so chances are this is you. And if this is you, this is the Queen of Action. This is a queen who moves according to her passions. If I feel passionate about it, I'm going to move into it. She's not a fear-based energy. It feels like you're coming back to yourself. That's what it feels like. And it feels like you're taking the wisdom of the eight or of the Queen of Pentacles. And I don't know why I can't get off the psychic abilities. So I know some of you are psychic, but I already knew that. But I feel like this month may find you doing something with those abilities. Whether it's just what to do next, or or you're literally creating a business. You know, I think the best thing to say here is we only have so much time on this earth. And, you know, we can stay in these unhappy situations for as long as we want to. Sometimes it does take bold action to make the changes that eventually bring your dreams to your reality. But I feel like it has to come with some bold chances. But on you. It's taking a chance on you. Look at that Queen of Pentacles again. I have to say, I feel like some of you may have been connected to Capricorn. But I feel like whatever power they once held, they no longer hold. I also, okay, so what I'm also hearing is the veil is thinning for you. Like you're able to see through the veil. Huh, okay, well, there comes those psychic abilities again. All right, we're going to look at the Seven Ups where this is some type of offer coming in. And you're making the decision. You know, the Seven of Cups can talk about like the day. It may be on a very chaotic day. I feel like some of you are making the decision right here and right now to work from home. And I feel like if that has been a dream of yours, because that's what I'm really feeling, if it was a dream, then I feel the way will be shown. Even if it seems like, well, even if it felt difficult to get to this point, you know, most good things come after a hard lesson. You know, what I've been told many times, after a hard lesson, there is a blessing. And we know you've been through the hard lesson. And we see the blessings. The Four of Swords. Some of you are just becoming natural healers. I'm saying natural because I feel like you already carry this energy. And listen, with the energy that's been showing, both good and bad, I feel like this is about taking what feels like rough energy and potentially helping others. And, you know, I feel like the best healers of the world are those who have been through the difficult lessons. You know, like if I was going to go to, let's say, a counselor, I would prefer someone who had walked my shoes to better understand. It doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that they're not as good, but that's just what I would want. And that's what I feel with you. Like for those who choose to take that path, I feel like the right people will find you. Just like what I just said. I feel like someone else is going to think. And they're going to be like, no, I think I'm going to go to Sagittarius because they've been there. Hmm. The Eight of Swords coming over the Death card. Time to put down those walls. Time to make that movement. It's an 8. You know, when these walls come down, it's freedom. It's freedom. Many times these walls are built because of other people. Things that other people have said to us made us feel unworthy. But that's when you got to look at the source. Truly, look at the source. Can this block your blessings? It can. But mainly because you may not see it as a blessing. You may see it more fear-based. But the Death card is saying that has to come to an end. The walls need to come down. The Empress, your intuition, that is your GPS. That is what will save you from lower vibrational energy. These walls kind of, what's the word I want to use? Block your intuition because you're not trusting your intuition here. Not only does she build walls, but she's got a blindfold on. You know, and I get it because it's over also the Ten of Swords. But then the Hangman, right? Seeking spiritual wisdom for my next steps. Wow, how do I get out of this Ten of Swords? I gotta take that blindfold off. I gotta put those walls down. I gotta trust in my intuition. If I can't trust my intuition, then I want to trust in my spiritual team. All right. Five of Pentacles again. But then look at this, the wheel. Your destiny. So, destiny not only in love, but also in money. You know, the first thing I want to say, by the way, just how I put the wheel down, I just realized it's mirroring the world. Well, that's the same thing that happened in your love. I think we got the world and then the wheel. And the wheel, again, is your destiny. And when you see the world, especially, or the wheel connected to the world, completion, and then the opening up of really quite a beautiful spiritual chapter that is coming over the Ten of Cups. This healing energy, I feel. And I know not everyone's going to love this, but I feel like some of the difficult, probably the most difficult things that you probably didn't have a choice but to overcome. I don't feel like you're going to feel the pain of that anymore, but I feel like you're going to extract the wisdom of that and use it. Not only for yourself, but I feel like for others. Like Sagittarius, you're helping to heal others through your experiences and through your own wisdom. Some of you were naturally born psychics, and maybe you're really honing in on it. You know, that Five of Pentacles over the Fool, again, it doesn't really give you much of a choice. But I can decide what energy I'm going to be in. And just the way the wheel is at the root of this reading, your destiny. You know, I feel like it's a different perspective of looking at the past. Instead of like, look at my life. I kept getting daggers after daggers after daggers. Well, part of that is the Eight of Swords. You know, it is that, what's the word I want to use? That umph, that willingness to take a chance on you. It's almost like everything was pushed in a not so comfortable way, but because your wheel is spinning. Those who lost a job, I feel like you're starting a job. You're starting your own business. All right. There's nothing I really want to ask, so I'm just going to go right across the middle of the reading. You know, when I see the Fool next to the Death card, which is about a rebirth, I don't want to put a whole lot of like what it must be because it's going to be different. It's your dreams and your wishes. And it's just asking you, be ready and be willing to take this leap of faith because the opportunity is going to show itself. And even if it came through, you know, a difficult time, it feels like that time is now over. I gotta let it be at the same time. Wow, we just got a lot of cards. I'm gonna take them. All right, Ten of Swords, the Devil, the Fool, huh? Successful self-employment. Wow. Connected to the Fool. Your intuition. Connected to this successful unemployment. Your inner child. The Three of Swords. And then the Knight of Swords. Oh my God. I feel like I know exactly what this is for a few of you. Some of you are starting your own business. You have learned the difference between the energy that has tempted you and the truth. I feel like no matter how the change happened, it was meant to happen. Because this is about lifting you up. You know, right under this Nine of Cups or the Nine of Pentacles is the Ten of Cups. Beautiful energy from working from home again. And I feel like your voice, what you speak, connected directly to your intuition, trust that. Like I see some doing like tarot readings, but then not trusting their voice. Like, I'm not sure if I was meant to say that. Just say it. Just say whatever you're feeling. You know, I feel like I got great healers here. And I feel like, and how you want to use it is going to be up to each individual. Because some of you may write a book, but it feels like a self-help book. It could be a story, but I feel like I have to go way back to the beginning of the reading where I kept feeling your psychic abilities. And now here you are creating with the Fool right beside that. That means even if you are helping others to deal with their own issues, and it reminds you of the issues that you had, you're not feeling the pain any longer. You're able to speak about it, but in a way that is really lifting others. For those who have been wanting to start a business, I just don't think the time could be better. I just don't think the time could be better. And I feel like what this reading is saying, that it is time to take a leap of faith on yourself. Do what it is that you have been wanting to do. Stop waiting for divine timing. Divine timing is here. And I didn't mean that in a mean way. But your voice, your healing abilities are being called into action. Some of you may speak about love. You may speak about everything. But all of a sudden, I'm getting like, I could see some of you also doing something around love. But what I'm really feeling is the opportunities are endless. And when Sagittarius believes in themselves and is willing to take that chance, and the timing is now, you know, and the Nine of Pentacles, it is seeing the fruits of your labor, but it is your hard work. And that's why all the fruit goes to you. It's like you're teaching others how not to be tempted into the dark. That's just what I feel. And I'm going to trust that. I'm just going to trust that. So your comments will definitely help me. You know, your comments help give me confirmation also, or validation. I don't know if validation is the right word, but confirmation for sure. And I love you guys so much. I do want to know where you're at in the reading. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. You know, Spirit wasn't lying. Before I started this reading, everything that was told to me has shown. What an abundant reading. After. You know, it feels like I've been through hell, and now I'm moving into my heaven, but my heaven on earth. And I feel proud of you. I feel your spiritual team is celebrating you for each little step. It's not about the major steps. It's about each little step you take forward. And one day soon, You're going to see how it all pays off. And I'm going to let that be. I'm going to let that be. I love you guys. I thank you. Truly, I thank you for your time. Happy New Year. Let me tell you, when I tell you the last reading is the best, boy, I wasn't kidding. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. But I feel like you deserve every bit of it. And I want to give a special thank you to the mothers and the mother figures, the ancestors. Thank you for being part of this reading. And thank you. I'll see you next time. I love you. Bye bye.